smoking an old Custom-Bilt. So this is one of those early 38 to 46 Custom-Bilts. Surprised that bit being as, looks kind of fragile where the mouthpiece is, but it seems to do okay. Good smoking pipe, straight billiard. Straight billiards smoke great usually. So, smoking some Iwan Ries IRC 2035 from probably 6-7 years ago. Really a dark mixture. As far as I can tell, non-aromatic and good quality. So yeah. So happy International Pipe Smoking Day. A day or two late. Better late than never. That's what they say. Yeah, it's good. I'm just taking a little break from work. We're supposed to get really cold here for us, so it'll be well below freezing. I was going to make a video in Port Townsend. I took the bike up there, bundled up. I even had I have this thing, it's like a heated fleece bib that goes over the front of your chest and then wraps around your neck like a neck warmer, which is nice. And it's electrically heated, so that really helps. And then heated hand grips with hippo hands, which are the covers for your hands. So it's pretty good. I know some guys who are just like totally electrified, but I just never have gone that far. But it certainly does make it more comfortable. Yeah. So riding season, and I'm excited, just kind of kicked off a little bit, so that's good. Yeah. Yeah, this is a good smoke. Interesting. It's hard to tell. I guess it's good quality wood. I mean, this was all Algerian old growth, I think, back in the day. I don't see any fills. You know, they have that weird pink color to them, so they're pretty obvious, especially with a more aged pipe. So, but you got to think, the guy who had this before, did he, assuming it was a he, did he have some great experiences smoking this pipe? Did he have some adventures, you know? So that's what I always think about when I smoke these quite vintage pipes. So I looked up Ipsd on the internet, and of course there was nothing about Pipe Smoking Day that I could find immediately. So I just typed in International Pipe Smoking Day, and there was the usual little questions being answered about pipe smoking. And so the internet believes that pipe smokers are about 1.5% of all smokers. So, you know, determine for yourself if that seems true or not. I guess so. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a good comparator of that. Certainly a lot fewer people are smoking in general, I would suggest, these days, but I don't know. I was at a bike club meeting on Saturday, and a couple of the guys who were like big cigarette smokers, they said, "Oh yeah, my New Year's resolution is to quit cigarette smoking, so I'm doing a hypnosis class and stuff, you know." So we'll see. Pipe smokers are hopefully free from that tyranny of addiction. But It's kind of nice here, a little bit of sunshine, a few little showers rolling through, but it is supposed to get really cold. We'll see. But it's sure nice now. And you know, now is all there is, so enjoy it. Just enjoy it for what it is. I'm guilty of that too. I strategize and try and pack as much in as possible. And sometimes you just have to sit back and just enjoy it for what it is. Just right now, and not get lost in the future or regrets or whatever, you know. So and this is pretty darn nice. The northwest coast forest. I'm in a forest, but I'm pretty close to civilization too, so don't deceive yourself. I can look out through the trees there and I can see Agate Passage and the salt water of Puget Sound there, just literally a couple of street blocks away, so that's cool too. But you do have to strategize. If you're ever going to get anything done, you know, you have to kind of know what you want to get done and then make time to do it. Prioritize it, or it'll never get done. So I'm kind of a list maker. You know, that's how I contain my, what do you want to call it, your future anxiety about the future and maybe forgetting about stuff. That's kind of I hate the idea of that, where I'll just get la 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 and forget about something really important. And I haven't really transitioned to the digital thing, so I do paper lists. I do some calendaring too. You have to, you know, if you're in a modern workplace, and that can be useful. But meetings, part of my work is networking with a lot of people in order to promote my employer and also get data. What I do is very data driven, so there's never enough data. So you're always looking for it, and that comes from relationships out there in the workplace with your peers doing the same thing, who also may want some data, you know. So those kind of meetings are really useful. A lot of those have gone to Zoom, which is super convenient, but you just don't get quite the quality of interaction that you do with regular in-face meetings. And this Saturday, where we had a motorcycle club meeting down in Portland, versus during COVID when we were meeting via Zoom, it just wasn't the same. It was good. It was better than nothing, certainly, but it just wasn't the same. So I think there might be a temptation just to completely dispense with in-person meetings and Zoom entirely, and I think that will be a mistake. So at least for my kind of work and how I do it. So I still need face-to-face meetings because that's where relationships develop. So yeah, that's important. I was reading an article in the Seattle Times today about why young people are driving less and less. Like, you know, back in the day, I would count the days until I could get my driver's license. You know, it was just such an important milestone and a freedom thing. I could go out and explore on my own, you know. So it was really a good article. It was quite in-depth about anxieties and how there's actually there's a lot of responsibility with driving, and a lot of people just don't want to assume that responsibility, which at least is a thoughtful response rather than just reacting out of fear, like, it's too scary, So another thing was that a lot of people, young people in particular, if they're gaming or if they're, no matter what they're doing, they often are connected kind of all the time through their phones on various apps. And so they're really they're not super isolated. As a parent, I would want my kids out there doing physical things in the world with other kids and being exposed to other kids and their ideas and their parents and their teachers and all that stuff. I would want that. But as far as driving goes, you can hail an Uber with the press of a button. There's also been a change in parenting where parents are just nuts about something happening to their kids, and especially, with school shootings and all the stuff, drugs, drug deaths and stuff. There's some, do it the way you need to, but I think helicopter parenting is kind of what it was called, is part of that too, where parents don't really allow their kids the freedom to just be out in the world, unattended by the parent, unprotected by the parent. So apparently there's this app, and I forget what the name of it is now, that you can keep track of your kid, I'm sure through their phone, right? Which they're going to have on them. So, but it can tell you the speed at which they're driving, if they've looked at their phone, it super hyper keeps an eye on them. So I guess you could have your kid drive and have that app. There were discussions with several parents who used the app and were as soon as their kid left the house, they had the app open and were monitoring what their kid was doing. It's kind of, I hope nobody wants to be that kind of parent, right? But it certainly happens. And so there are ways to be a helicopter parent and still let your kids drive. So, and one other thing is driver's ed is no longer part of the school curriculum, as it was in my day. You just signed up for it. I think you did have to pay something for it, but it was part of the school thing. And now it's this totally separate thing, and it's very expensive. So it can be easily $1,000. And that's kind of a big outlay for any number of kids or parents. So that's a discouragement to driving too. But the high cost of insurance, there's just a lot of factors involved there. So it helped me get a little broader view. I was thinking it was just generalized anxiety brought about by exclusive social media interacting, was the reason that kids were not driving so much. And it's nuanced and it's complex, but anyway, they'll do what they need to do, I guess. I personally love driving, and I like motorcycles. I like responsive cars, Tonight is fire drill, so I'll get to drive a big truck. How much fun is that? It's great. Wow. So, vehicles are still a key part of my existence. Yeah. So happy International Pipe Smoking Day 2023. In an ever-changing world that changes, but then nothing changes. Yeah, that's fine. Anyway, I hope everybody had some awareness, and it should be like International Pipe Smoking Week, so that if yesterday was, or was it Sunday, I don't know, was inconvenient, then you could feel free to enjoy a pipe and do it deliberately, and what, of course I do that all. What pipe do I feel like? So that's a decision. That's fun. And then what kind of tobacco do I feel like? Maybe something a little lighter, or maybe something new that I haven't tried before, or something that I haven't tried in a long time. It's all, even what lighter you use. I'm using a Bic here, but the whole thing. I am consistent with my tampers, though, I will say. Finger tamping. I don't know why that has fallen out of favor. Was it ever in favor? I don't know. It's not very refined, and you get a little blackened index finger. But you get to feel like where it's burning, where it's not. You just get a whole lot of information in there without looking at it. It's non-visual, it's sensory. I like that. So I will probably always be a finger tamper. Despite some great tampers that I've received. So some of those are awesome tampers. There's one that is out of antler, I think, and it's in the shape of a finger. It's great. But really it's the getting a sense of what's happening in the pipe that is the reason I finger tamp. And I'm lazy and I don't have to carry a tamper and look for a tamper. So anyway, this is about done. Back to work. And I'm always amazed at my work and how I've got this work gig going that I love. It's not like work. It doesn't feel like work. So I'm trying to encourage some friends of mine who are looking for alternative work or working for a different employer or whatever to try and find the kind of scenario that I have somehow been able to achieve. And it's interesting. The biggest problem is people don't really know what they want to do. They just don't have enough experience to know that this thing over here would be really ideal for them. So it's all conjecture, and then you have to try it. And it might be with a company that is, has some jerk as a manager. Sometimes it's like that, I was smoking at the marina at Port Townsend, kind of in the rain and the wind. It was like blowing crazy. And this guy was walking his dog, and I was wearing this hat, a BNSF hat, and he said, "Oh, do you work for the railroad?" And I said, "No, I just got this from a friend of mine." And so he started talking about how when he was a younger man, he thought the railroad would be this great opportunity. Consistent work, well paid, but he was going to be a dispatcher. But he said the hours were just crazy. It was like the union had won. He had heard from those within the railroad that the union had won so many concessions that the railroad itself was sort of punishing people by making these work schedules that were just crazy, hard to live with. So he ended up not doing that. I don't know what he did instead. We didn't talk that long, and it was raining. And his dog was really friendly. But you know, sometimes a great job opportunity that would be good for you is spoiled by like a bad manager, a sour manager, or a company culture that is not congruent with your own, for instance. So it isn't just the job, it's the context of it. But I do think it's important to try and find that for yourself. So I'm encouraging some friends of mine to do that. And only they know what's right for them. So you can kind of suggest things, steer them along and help them out as you can, but only they know that for sure. But when you're in a job you hate, you know it. Although sometimes, you know, bad attitude can be corrected through perspective. But bigger topic. It's a beautiful day. I'm about done with this bowl. Time to get back to work. So, happy International Pipe Smoking Day.